Today's episode of Do You Speak Geek is dedicated to the memory of Mort Drucker, who died this week at the age of 91 years old. Mad Magazine artist, incredible artist when it came to political satire or celebrities, you name it, he did it. And we just tip our hats to you and raise a glass to you, Mr. Mort Drucker. Moment of silence. So, the Defenders, the likelihood of being in the MCU is looking more possible now these days. Just about 2 years ago, the Iron Fist was canceled, and from the rumors that are had here, there's a 2-year lock on the IPs from Netflix starting around October when the Iron Fist was canceled. Now, I think that they could try to make a way to present that and get the Defenders into the MCU. I could personally see there being an option for the Iron Fist to pop up in Shang-Chi. Now, of course, the more obvious pickup would be Matt Murdock showing up to help out Peter Parker in the MCU in the third Spider-Man film, which is still a great thing, but it's the most obvious choice, and it's a great choice. I mean, why not? Now, the others are perhaps maybe seeing Luke Cage pop up in the Falcon and Winter Soldier show, or maybe even seeing Jessica Jones make a cameo in the far-out release of Blade. We'll see that. What do you guys think out there? Is this finally a way for them to... I mean, we're 2 years out, you know? This was back in 2018. Come October, we could really start to see these characters begin to show themselves in the MCU. I would personally love to see it. I know a lot of you would too. Blurs and nerds, freaks and geeks, this is Do You Speak Geek, episode 25. Alright, y'all, welcome to the show. I am your host, Nix. This is DYSG, episode 25. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome to the ride. And if you are a returning listener, welcome back. This is the show Do You Speak Geek right here on Spreaker. You can find us here or anywhere else you get your podcasts, whether it be Apple or Google or iHeartRadio or Spotify. You can find us there. So thank you to all subscribers, thank you to all followers, we appreciate you. Follow us on social medias, Facebook at DYSG Media, Twitter at _Do You Speak Geek, and Instagram at Do You Speak Geek. YouTube is another place you can catch us. That is the Dono and Daddy Show. Please go subscribe, like, Hulk, smash that bell for all notifications, and be sure to leave comments. We love to know what you guys think. Also, as I said in the last show, DoYouSpeakGeek.com is coming. Speaking of Do You Speak Geek, how about we cut to the chase and let's speak geek.
Suit up.
I wanna be the very best.
Talk nerdy to me.
Now, the big news this week has come out of Sony, and it is the PS5 controller, the DualSense. It has been revealed, and not a lot of people are loving it, but there are people who are enamored and think it is the most gorgeous thing ever. Now, just to go over specifications here, we have the specs of haptic feedback. That's just response to touch and things of that nature here. We've got adaptive triggers that are great for shooters. A create button, which is pretty much a share button once again. That's for gaming channels like Twitch and also social media posts. It is headset capable, but it also has a built-in microphone. There's a rechargeable battery with the USB-C cable connection. Now, there are obvious comparisons to the Xbox Series X controller when you look at it initially, and you go, oh, that looks just like a Xbox controller. I'm going to go with Xbox if that's the case. Come on, people. I mean, the more things change, the more they stay the same. Eventually, these systems are going to start looking alike. I mean, you saw it kind of happen with Nintendo and Sega. It's going to happen again here with PlayStation and Microsoft and Xbox, Sony and Microsoft. Imitation is the highest form of flattery. The way these things are designed nowadays is that's the way it works. The features sound great. A lot of people are a little leery about the quote-unquote always-on built-in microphone. But, we'll see about that in the end. I mean, there may be a possible way of turning that feature off, but we won't know until we actually get around to seeing this baby do work and how we see it work with the PS5 when it releases, hopefully still this holiday. Let's jump into my favorite segment, Source Wall.
Man, you come right out of a comic book.
Behold the source wall.
Can you read, my son?
Well, that depends.
There is nothing wrong with reading a story and looking at the pictures.
Enough said, my man Stan. We don't have any DC or Marvel releases this week. Yeah, so, this coronavirus thing is really getting on my nerves and it has to stop. But just because our two big bads don't have any releases does not mean we do not have comics for you. So, with other releases, we have Billionaire Killers #1, written and drawn by Sue Lee. What if the children of the 1% reject their family legacies of global brutality and tear down the billionaire patriarchy? The new ongoing series Billionaire Killers returns to the provocative world of young terrorists for a standalone story about corruption, conspiracy, and what happens when the next generation vows to burn it all down. Sounds a little scary to me, but we'll see what happens in that book. Please check that one out. King of Nowhere #2, written by Maxwell Prince and illustrated by Tyler Jenkins. Now an honorary citizen of Nowhere, Dennis joins one of the locals on a doomed-to-fail money-making scheme at the outskirts of town, while John Doe's mysterious killer continues to leave bodies in his wake. We'll see what happens in that one. Coming out of Valiant, we have Bloodshot #8. Unthinkable monsters are unleashing hell on Earth. Surrounded by enemies, who can Bloodshot trust? Not sure we can trust, but you guys check that out to find out who that is. And finally, we have Frankenstein Undone #2. This is by Mike Mignola and Scott Ailey. In the lead up of the celebrated series Frankenstein Underground, the monster Frankenstein continues his journey north. Still trapped between the weight of his guilt and desire for redemption, Frankenstein may have to choose once and for all when an encounter with the crew of an icebound ship leads him into danger on the ice. It looks to me like Frankenstein's getting in a whole lot of mess out there. Hopefully this book ends pretty well and not with too many casualties. Let's jump in to watch this, y'all.
Watch this, y'all. Thunder. Thunder. Thunder.
Lannister always pays his debts.
Whoa, dude.
I am the villain of the story.
Alright, speaking of my man Lex right there popping up at the end of my transition, we have Superman and Lois, the show that has been greenlighted by the CW. They have cast Lana Lang and her husband. Former The Passage star Emmanuel Chikwi is set as a series regular opposite Tyler Hoechlin and Elizabeth Tulach in Superman and Lois, the CW's straight-to-series drama about the iconic DC couple. Chikwi will play the popular DC character Lana Lang in the series from the Flash executive producer Todd Helbing, DC Universe architect Greg Berlantini, and Warner Brothers TV. Eric Valdez, formerly of Graceland, is set as a series regular opposite Chikwi. I'm probably butchering her name. Valdez, he will play Kyle Cushing, the husband of Lana Lang. So let's see how this goes. If it's anything like Smallville, there's bound to be some drama there between Clark and Lana, with Lois kind of thrown in the mix. Disney Plus is developing female-led Doogie Howser reboot. It looks like Disney Plus is going all in on the idea of rebooting nostalgic properties for a new generation. The streaming service is already in the process of bringing the Mighty Ducks, Turner and Hooch, and Honey, I Shrunk the Kids back to the screen, and now it has its sights set on the popular Neil Patrick Harris sitcom Doogie Howser, MD. Disney Plus is developing a new modern series about the child doctor, this time with a female lead. The new version of the series is called Doogie Kaloha, MD, working title only, and it will act as a reboot of the original MPH vehicle. Fresh off the boat, How I Met Your Mother alum Courtney Kang is developing the project for Disney and 20th Century TV. Let's see how that goes. I mean, when Doogie was out, I was still a kid myself, so I don't really remember the show that much, but it made MPH famous. It's got to be a great thing. Let's jump into Thumb Life.
Peace, love, and video games!
It's on like Donkey Kong.
Batman is playing Galaga.
Alright folks, let's talk some video games. Now it looks like The Sims 4 has a 6-month DLC plan.
Quafica Abimo? Chilu.
Yeah, so EA announced its plans to reveal several new DLC downloads over the next 6 months. So far, there are plans for a new stuff pack, a game pack, and an all-new expansion pack as well. Now, some experts say that EA is not quite done with The Sims 4. This blurb right here would say a little different. I say that this is the beginning of the end of Sims 4, while we anticipate the announcement and arrival of Sims 5. At some point, EA is going to have to release that information to us. There's already rumors of it being an online thing. Let us know what's going on, EA. And finally, in Thumb Life news, we have the review for Final Fantasy VII, the remake. Final Fantasy VII Remake's dull, filler, and convoluted additions can cause it to stumble, but it still breathes exciting new life into a classic while standing as a great RPG on its own. And this is also reported by IGN. The expectations around Final Fantasy VII Remake are sky high, and it mostly manages to deliver. The boring RPG filler and Kingdom Hearts-esque convolution that was inserted in between did stop one gamer from an ear-to-ear grin from being constant, but never long enough to kill the mood completely. So it's still a great game regardless. Final Fantasy VII, this remake does not indeed in any way, I don't think, tarnish the legacy of the game. I mean, it's still one of the greatest games ever made. And if you never played it before, let this be your opportunity to go ahead and check that out. Let's jump into Technically Speaking.
Technically speaking.
technological advancements.
1.21 gigawatts.
Have you tried turning it off and on again?
All right. Got one bit of a story here coming out, technically speaking, this week here. The IGN. Oh, got my letters confused there. IGN has a list of the best over-the-ear headphones for 2020 that audiophiles will love. Basically, that's you guys who love music and audio and stuff like that. You know you are, you audiophiles. Yeah, you know you are. The list goes from top to bottom like this. The Audio-Technica ATH-M50X, the Tascam TH02s, the Sennheiser HD800Ss, a personal favorite of mine, the Sony WH-1000XM3s, the Plantronics Backbeat Pro 2s, the Impal H5s, the Hive-Iman HE400Is, the Sennheiser HD600s, the Sony MDR7506s, the V-Mata Crossfade M100s to round out the list. If any of you have those headphones, or if you're looking to find some of those headphones, go check out that list right now on IGN.com. It is a great list and a great set of headphones if you ever want to check those out. Let's jump into a segment that we haven't done here at Do You Speak Geek in a while, and that is called Geek Beyond Geek.
What is our universe made of?
Is extraterrestrial human contact.
Yes, science.
All right, let's jump right into it. Now, a black hole's energy beam is seemingly breaking the laws of physics. Now, one of the fundamental quirks of our universe is that nothing inside of it can be superluminal, or in layman's terms, faster than the speed of light. There's one reason why an explosive jet fueled by supermassive black hole off a faraway galaxy that appeared to be traveling at up to 20 times the speed of light has caught the eye of some scientists. Now, I'm not sure if any of you have seen images of this yet. If you haven't, please go check it out. It looks like something straight out of Endgame, straight out of a comic book. The picture is beautiful and amazing, but just to imagine what the possibilities of what it could be, and to know that it's just something that is a fluke accident that kind of happened, it's an optical illusion. Now, the phenomenon was captured by the Event Horizon Telescope. That's the same one responsible for capturing that first ever image of a black hole last year, thanks to the algorithms developed by Katie Borman and her team. Now, what scientists observed in this case was a beam of energy coming from the supermassive black hole at the center of a galaxy called 3C279, which is located about 5 billion light years from Earth. Now, that beam of energy appeared to be traveling at about 20 times the speed of light. New observations of this optical illusion are also the sharpest ever. Like I said, you gotta see these things, of a jet powered by a supermassive black hole. At the center of 3C279 lies a supermassive black hole that is about 1 billion times as massive as the sun. When clumps of matter fall into the hole, they become super hot and energetic, sparking the enormous jet explosion that scientists see blasting out of the blazer's pole. So basically, what you just saw is a little bit of debris getting all into that thing and making this big explosion, which looked like a light of beam coming out that thing. Now, like I said, I saw this myself. I didn't know what was going on. Now, I was thinking one of two things. Either the Empire's trying to catch up with us and they're moving way too fast. Now, you're talking about 20 times the speed of light. They're moving 20 times faster than the speed of light. Just picture that for a second. I mean, what would that even sound like?
Prepare ship for light speed. No, light speed is too slow. Light speed too slow? Yes, we're gonna have to go right to ludicrous speed.
Ooh, maybe that's what it would be. Then I also thought that it could possibly be somebody else.
Fine.
Yeah. Unfortunately, neither of those things. Just a freak accident happening. Now, in other news, Dana White, the UFC president, has secured a U.S. private island location for his UFC fights. Now, I gotta admit, when I first heard this story, I thought, private island with fights happening?
Welcome. You're here to compete in Mortal Kombat.
That was my first thought. But I was like, nah, he can't be serious. But he is dead serious. Because of the global pandemic, he has secured a private island to host these events. White told ESPN this past Monday that he has secured a location in the U.S. to host UFC 249 on April 18th, which will be headlined by an interim title fight between Tony Ferguson and Justin Gaethje, and consists of 12 fights overall. He said the location will host weekly fights for at least the next 2 months. Additionally, White said he has started work on an undisclosed island where he could conceivably book fights for international athletes who can't come into the U.S. Like I said, sounds like Mortal Kombat to me. Last bit of news we got here, y'all. We have the XFL has suspended operations, layoffs of employees, and has no plans of a 2021 season. Now, you and I, if you're a fan of this show, you all know that I'm a huge fan of Mr. Vincent Kennedy McMahon. And it looks like Mr. McMahon is going to be eating some familiar cookies. A batch from 2001, to be exact. Well, Cookie Monster's here to kind of tell him about those cookies. Can you want to tell him about those Cookie Monster?
Wow, look at that. That, me think, is, look like letter L. Yeah. Smell like letter L.
It does.
Sound like letter L.
Yeah,
yup.
Yeah, so I guess Vince is going to be eating that L again. Now, the XFL suspended operations Friday morning, and multiple sources told ESPN that the league has laid off nearly all of its staff. A handful of executives remain employed, and currently has no plans to return in 2021. The XFL is owned by CEO President Vincent McMahon and Alpha Entertainment. In a statement, the WWE said, given the certainty of the current environment, the XFL has suspended operations and is evaluating next steps. I'm pretty sure those next steps lead right to bankruptcy. I'm getting ready to get out of here. I am probably going to once again watch that incredible, and when I say incredible, I mean incredible night of hip hop that we had this past Saturday night between DJ Premier and the RZA. So I'm gonna get out of here, y'all. As always, thanks for listening. Keep up with the content on all the social medias and right here on Spreaker. Follow the social medias, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. This is Nix. As always, live to play to win to live. I speak geek. Do you speak geek?